topics and challenge the stereotypes and stigmas holding us back. From navigating the 6 dimensions of wellness to redefining social norms, this is more than a discussion. It's a revolution in how we care for our minds and souls. Ready for bold, honest conversations that spark change? Let's dive in. It's time for real talk with real impact.
Welcome back to another impactful and empowering episode of Girl Talk Mental Health, the show where we keep it real about mental wellness, self-care, and how you can thrive in your everyday life. And I'm your host, Virginia Dale Manning, and today we're diving into a topic that so many of us struggle with on a day-to-day basis, but is absolutely essential for our mental well-being, and that is healthy relationships and setting boundaries for mental wellness. Now, since it's February, the month of love, our theme here is the love you live. And this is the perfect time to talk about not just romantic relationships, but all relationships. Because love isn't just about how we connect with others, but it's also about how we love, respect, and protect ourselves. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is by setting boundaries. And boundaries aren't just walls where you shut people out. They are guidelines that help us protect our peace, preserve our mental health, and build healthier, more fulfilling relationships. But let's be honest, setting boundaries aren't comfortable, right? Whether it's saying no to a friend, standing firm in a romantic relationship, or setting or creating a space of protection in your work environment, many of us struggle with it. And why? Because we don't want to disappoint people. We feel guilty when we say no, or we just simply don't know how. But today, we are tackling all of that, and we have somebody to help us to unpack this important topic. And I'm so excited to welcome Brigette Sobus. She is a dynamic coach. She and consultant. She's dedicated to empowering individuals to build thriving businesses and lead fulfilling lives. So, welcome, Brigette. Welcome to the show. So, introduce yourself to the audience. Tell them a little bit about you so they can know who you are.
Oh, I'm Virginia. I'm so excited to be here with you because this topic is my jam. It really is. And when I was even just like listening to the introduction and the commercial, I was like, yes, yes, yes. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here. My background formally was in the salon industry. So I've been an entrepreneur for over, probably going on 19 years now, which blows my mind. And how I started becoming an entrepreneur was I was a 6-figure earner at a really dysfunctional salon, and I had the opportunity to buy the salon, and I thought I could do better than him and become a millionaire overnight. And then quickly I realized I lost my 6-figure paycheck and I was a big hot mess. So I hired my first coaching consultant, and I quickly turned the business around. I started growing it by 30-40%. And because of the work I did with him, it inspired me to become a coaching consultant to support other people. And really I have a long, I know we have a short amount of time and we could probably talk for days, Virginia, but to keep things simple, I had a very systemized and structured business in policies and procedures. And that's what had me thrive as a leader and an entrepreneur. What I did struggle with was people pleasing, setting healthy boundaries, and I had a negative thought pattern and negative emotions like guilt, shame, embarrassment that really ran my show, especially in the behind the curtains, really hard. So now I work with entrepreneurs that have been stressed, burnt out, overwhelmed, people pleasing, possibly resenting their own businesses to reinvent their lives with power, joy, and profits. So I love talking about boundaries, the work to do to create healthy ones, and really taking that people pleaser crown off, which I also call Wonder Woman stunt double.
Oh, okay, that's a good word. Wonder Woman stunt devil. Yes, y'all hear that? Yeah, she's gonna help you learn how to manage your Wonder Woman stunt devil by setting boundaries. So let's dive right in, Bridget, so we can give them some insight because so many people are waiting for this topic so that they can know what they need to do to set boundaries for healthy relationships as well. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So first of all, because some people don't know, to you, what are healthy relationships? Give us a definition of healthy relationships.
I'm gonna really start with yourself. Having a healthy relationship with yourself, having healthy inner dialogue, making your mind your best friend, and having lots of self-love and self-compassion
Mhm.
is the catalyst to having healthy relationships with others.
That's good. Yeah, especially the self-love part because when you love yourself, then it helps you to know what to accept and what not to accept from other people. But sometimes that's the indication of you struggling with self-love when you let other people just run over you and do things and disrespect you and don't feel like you empowered in a relationship. So
Yeah.
how do healthy boundaries help to develop healthy relationships?
I think, well, I do believe that there's times when you treat people, or sorry, take that back. I'm back. Okay. You teach people how to treat you.
Mm,
So if you are in a habit of letting people take advantage of you, if you're in a habit of being a yes man or a woman to everything that comes your way, bending over backwards, um, canceling your appointments or what you have to do for somebody else, also like having somebody else's urgency now become your urgency. So if you trained someone to do that already, they're going to expect you keep doing it over and over again.
hmm
And
So
it's like taking
yeah,
that.
like setting the expectations at the beginning.
Yeah. So
Hmm
there's times you may have to, when you're reinventing yourself, retraining others on how to treat you.
hmm That's good, the retraining part, because sometimes we get swept away in relationships, and then
Yeah.
before we know it, it's going a certain way. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not how I wanted this relationship to go. And then that's important that you do retrain them. So, what
Yeah.
is to retrain? Well, how do you think people can retrain other people? Because we feel guilty, we don't know how to say things, and we set up those walls that's keeping us from these healthy boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, the one example that really comes to my mind, right, that's easy, that probably a lot of listeners can relate to, is even with text messaging.
Hmm
So when I owned my brick and mortar, my hair salon, I had anywhere from 15 to 22 employees. So when they would text me with their urgency, I trained them that I would probably reply back within 30 seconds to a minute. Like
hmm
very fast, very fast.
Set the boundary.
Yeah. So much so that sometimes when they would reply to me or even text me, when I wouldn't reply, then I would get hit back with, I know you have your phone on you. You know what I mean? So then that would drive up more like,
Anxiety, yeah.
stress in me. So for that part, this is even going back before I do the work I do now, because I do a lot of inner healing work with myself and my clients
Mhm.
to release that guilt and release the anxiety you may hold. So basically, I had to have a meeting and a conversation with all of them and say, listen, I understand that I have been instantly reacting to your messages. And now moving forward, I will now reply back to you within 24 hours.
Oh, that's retraining.
Unless it's like we're talking real urgency over here, like,
Mhm.
there's always going to be those occasions, but I will reply back to you within 24 hours. And if it is the weekend, I deserve a weekend as well, like you do.
Mhm.
And I will reply back to you on business hours. And please don't text me at 1 a.m. anymore telling me that you have a stomach ache. You can't come to work.
Right? Wait until the appropriate time, because it is about appropriateness as well.
Yep.
And some people don't know
Yep.
about appropriateness. But I love that. I love it. Now let's talk a little bit about recognizing unhealthy relationships. What are some clues or tips to help the audience recognize when a relationship is unhealthy? Because sometimes, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I had been in some pretty unhealthy codependent relationships with women that were my colleagues or friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think how to recognize it, I like really starting to notice. So here's first and foremost, most of the time people are running on automatic like reactions. They happen so fast because
Mm-hmm.
your unconscious mind is taking over because they run 95 or more of your behaviors and reactions. So when you become more consciously aware of how you're feeling internally, what are your thoughts? So I think there's so much power in the pause,
Mm.
practicing pausing. So when you have a higher awareness about what is happening, you have to just, it's almost like I love breathing techniques where you're like doing box breathing, where you can breathe in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, release for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4. And then when you're doing that, you can start noticing what's happening in your feelings in your body and what are the thoughts coming up. And then from there, you can consciously have more of what is your choice in your reaction, what you're going to say, how you want to handle it. Maybe you want to actually say to the person, I hear what you're saying, and I just would like a little bit of time with this, and I'm going to get back to you.
And so, what about the people pleasers and the people who have problems with saying no? How
Yeah.
can they identify when, because some boundaries are healthy and some are unhealthy, right? So, how can they identify when a personal or professional relationship is damaging their mental wellness?
Yeah, I just created a social media post around this because there's so many the people, I think it's just because of the industry I'm in as well, and I follow coaches and consultants. They're always like, stop people pleasing. And if it were just that simple, because it's deep rooted stuff most likely. So it could possibly be from childhood, childhood wounds, whether it was
Mm,
internally in the family, or you could have had an encounter with some stranger on the street. I don't
mhm.
know, but
Right.
like most of the times those people pleasing behaviors start in our childhood.
Oh, that's
So when you start recognizing like the triggers, and then like noticing, am I feeling guilty? Am I feeling bad? And you're all free and clear of this, by the way. But like I'm very mindful about installing things in people's mind. But so really starting to recognize that and thinking to yourself, what has me reacting like this? Like, start
mhm.
questioning your own self. What actually has me thinking this way?
That's good.
What has me want to bend over backwards to have this person stop being mad at me when it actually had nothing to do with me? Because typically other people's reactions mostly have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect place to pause for a quick commercial. But while we're in the commercial, you all think about that like a reflection of why are you in that relationship and what's causing you to let that person step all over you or to keep you from setting healthy boundaries. And we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Girl Talk Mental Health. Do you ever feel like you're running on empty? Stuck in the same cycle? Or just trying to keep it all together? You're not alone. Stress, depression, burnout, and self-doubt are real, but they don't have to control your life. Imagine feeling empowered, balanced, and truly at peace. At Girl Talk Mental Health, we're diving deep into the real conversations that help you heal, grow, and thrive. From breaking stigmas to actionable strategies, we're here to empower you to take back control of your mental wellness and reclaim your time, your energy, and your joy. Follow us now for expert insights, uplifting conversations, and the tools you need to transform your life. It's time for real talk with real impact. Girl Talk Mental Health. Real conversations, real change. Follow us today at Virginia Dal Manning.
Okay, so welcome back to the second half of Girl Talk Mental Health with Miss Brigette Sobus. And she has been giving us some insightful gems about how to set healthy boundaries so that you can have healthy relationships and thrive in your day-to-day life. So we diving into the part two. So let's see. So now for those who are listening and who have been listening, or if just jumping in on the second half, now, who feel guilty, and if you even feel afraid to set boundaries, Brigette, can you give us some practical, and you've been giving us so many already, real life strategies for communicating boundaries effectively without feeling bad about it? Like they feel so bad. Like, how can you boldly set those boundaries?
Yeah, well, I think even normalizing, like, we can't control other people's reactions at the end of the day. Like, people are going to react the way they're going to react. I love real-time tips too. Yeah. So I think this is so important. So if you're feeling in a space where you are like, oh my gosh, if I let this person down, or if I have to give them some feedback and tell them how I feel, and you're noticing that you might feel like you're feeling guilty, if that's like coming up for you, I really love asking somebody else for permission to share stuff with them.
Okay.
So like it could, like, let's just say, Virginia, you and I are talking and you have a request of me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to say no. And I'm like, now all the things are starting to come up. Oh my gosh, they're going to be mad at me. They're going to whatever. Your mind is going on a spiral and the negative emotions are popping up. Again, practice breathing, practice pausing, breathing. Even if you just take deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And then you can say to the person, I can say, Virginia, I hear what you're asking. Like, you're reflecting back. I hear this request. I hear what you're asking. May I share with you my thoughts on this and where I'm at and what I can do. So there's this thing when you ask people for permission to then have them listen to you and have them hear what you have to say, because when you ask for permission from somebody else, it's like this, like, it diffuses anything that could be in the way. Like, hey, may I share with you some of my thoughts around that? And this person's like, oh yeah, actually I do want to hear what you have to say. Versus being like, no, I can't do that, or like, like a, kind of like more of a defensive reaction, if you will.
That's what it is, defensive.
Yeah. So when you work on calming your nervous system down and that inner dialogue, and pause and then say and ask for permission, hey, I'd actually like to share with you my thoughts on where I'm at with this.
That's so good. And I love the part about calming the nervous system, because that's where a lot of the anxiety come in at when you in unhealthy relationships and you wondering, panic attacks and everything like that. So that's a good nugget.
Yeah, and here's the thing with retraining your nervous system. I love like learning more about this. I'm always like doing my own research.
Mm-hmm.
But that flight or fight mode,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, a lot of people are addicted to it and they don't
Mm.
even know it. So there's a lot of people that are addicted to unhealthy, negative emotions,
Mm.
whether
That's
it's
what it is. Y'all addicted to it.
sadness, fear, hurt, guilt. Because it's just so it's fascinating. But unfortunately, people's nervous system, your nervous system, and your unconscious mind is designed to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are used to being in those like heightened emotions and then you're like calm and negative, it's almost like these red flags come up and like they're like, "Wait, we're not used to feeling like this. We have to create some drama. That's what's normal."
Mm-hmm.
So I really I've done my own work on this and I've worked with clients on this, retraining your nervous system or releasing those like deep harbored negative emotions that might be so a root cause. That's what keeps happening.
Right. That's good. That's good. So, Bridget, we're winding down. And so, for every special guest, I have what we call a spotlight question. So, are you ready for the spotlight question?
I am.
All right. Here it is. What's one, okay. What's one mindset shift or action step you believe could transform how we approach mental health and wellness in our daily lives?
Outside of what I've just said, okay.
And you,
I love that. Okay, yeah. All right. So I love meditation. I would find a meditation on YouTube that is related, it could be related to whatever the challenge is, guilt, fear, anger, whatever that is. I would find a meditation and I would start listening to a meditation
okay,
daily.
good. Yes, that daily. Yes,
A lot of
daily.
good ones out there.
Because sometimes that's what happens in our lives. We get so busy, as you said earlier, that we don't stop and pause and breathe and have that waiting period. And we just on automatic and we don't do those things that will help promote our mental wellness and meditation, your mindset, your nervous system. You gave so many good gems today. All of those things are important to help regulate our relationships and let us feel comfortable without being anxious, with setting some healthy boundaries for healthy relationships so we can have a healthy, successful lifestyle.
Yes.
So, tell the people where they can reach you at, and if you have any special offers, toot your own horn, give them some information about you.
Thanks, Virginia. So yeah, so Power and Joy Coaching Academy. I would say probably the easiest ways to uh like reach out to me is either Facebook. I think you're going to put stuff in the show notes. Like Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn or in Instagram. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. I reply back to people. And then I also have a free guide that I created on stop people pleasing as a business owner that gives even more um, juicy insights and tips on really how to transform and take that people pleasing hat, or AKA Wonder Woman stunt double. You can put her at rest. I have Wonder Woman stunt double to me is like you're doing everything for everyone and you're getting the crap kicked out of you constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a very insightful conversation. And setting boundaries isn't just about, protecting our mental health. It's about reclaiming your power, your peace, and your self-respect.
Yeah.
So, everyone, be sure to join Girl Talk Mental Health next week when we talk about love bombing. It's February, it's the month of love. We want to make sure you have healthy relationships, and first of all, love yourself to the most power. That way you can make sure you keep healthy relationships. So thank you, Bridget.
Thank you.
Everybody, y'all be sure to join. Go into the show notes, get her free offer that she has. Connect with her so that you can continue on your journey of mental wellness.
Thank you for joining us for Girl Talk Mental Health. Remember, your mental health is your wealth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to at Virginia Del Manning.